Numbers, raw numbers?
15,110 people.
Wow! Congratulations, Australia, and we'll be feeding those results through to the Lithgow Mayor right after the show. Now, we haven't had a lot of email action this week, Roy.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I've got one here, actually. I'm a Year 10. This is Paul Skeen from Victoria. I'm a Year 10 student, and I was outraged to hear that only primary students were going to get the Federation medals. At the start of the year, there was a campaign saying all Australian students would get medals. I was deeply crushed. Even the Prime Minister said that all students across Australia will receive medals. It's a bloody disgrace, he says, a disgrace.
A disgrace.
An outrage. I agree with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought all Australians would get one.
Did you?
I did, all Australians.
What, through the mail?
Through the mail.
It'd be a pretty worthless medal. I mean, if you can find it to students, at least it'd have some value, i.e. the oldies wouldn't have it.
You keep it and you pass it on. You know, how many, what, 23 million of us, that's 23 medals. Yeah. Well, when the country's 106 million, they'd be worth something.
Yeah, true, true. Now, look, before we go on, we have got our own offering towards the Centenary of Federation, and that's the Dumpster Awards scheme, which we should run through now again because we've had a lot of interest in it. Roy.
We have. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah,
I'm overwhelmed
is that how you
at the response, HG. Yes. And the scheme is, as you know, there are a number of categories. Yes. I don't know if we can have those categories on the screen. Yes, there's the green dumpster for planting trees. Yes. There's the blue, is it? The blue next? Yes, blue dumpster for waterways, helping out cleaning the waterways. There is the brown, is it next? No, yes.
Purple.
Purple for community service, helping out people in need.
Then you go to your brown.
Then we go to the brown dumpster, which is for sewage, helping out with sewage, and the white dumpster for assisting in or encouraging world peace. Yes. And if you get them all, then you get the Queen's Dumpster Award, which is the flying dunny, the flapping dunny belt buckle. Yeah. But make sure what you do is verified by Justice of the Peace. So we do want verification, either photograph or in letter, form with a verification by Justice of the Peace, and you can win those awards if you are 18 years or younger. 18 years or younger, yes, something for the kids there. Now, I've got one here. I don't know if you're serious about Federation Kiddies Club or not, but just in case you are, could you, how about organising a game or a board game which features pinning the beard onto Sir Henry Parkes? Now, that is a tremendous idea. That comes from Peter Roddier in Geraldton, Western Australia, and I like that idea. A simple game like pin the tail on the donkey, you get the beard, and there's the buffet on the wall. You go up and make the buffet complete by putting the beard on him. I think that's a beautiful idea. It's tremendous, and something for... Very Australian. Very Australian, of people of all ages also could participate. For everyone. Yeah, blindfold on, off you shoot. Ashraf from Sydney, she's got in touch. He says here he's noticed the huge billboards around Sydney featuring Michael Klim allegedly saying he's absolutely with Ansett. But have you really looked at these pictures, he says? It ain't Michael Klim. Well, not in the flesh. It appears to be a picture of Michael Klim's wax image. Please look into this and let me know. Is Michael Klim really absolutely with Ansett or not? And we did have another email suggesting they saw Michael Klim on a Qantas flight. Yeah. Well, so I don't know if he is absolutely with Ansett or not. But the wax image is. We will look into it. Yeah. Somebody else has suggested that I might have been associated being absolutely with Ansett. Can I just say I've had nothing to do with Ansett? It's an absolute mystery to me. If there's a look-alike, I'll be seeing the Ansett people in court. I've got a beauty here too. But don't get me wrong, I love a really old plane. Yeah. I do. We both love really old planes, and I like a plane with cracks on the pylons of the hull. Oh, yeah, I like a motor falling off and that sort of stuff. Makes it exciting. Are we going to get there or not? Yes, now, this week in Darwin, we've got the 2001 Annual National Dragon Boat Championships. Oh, yeah. This is really the sleeping giant of world sport, this Dragon Boat Championship, isn't it, Roy? I mean, it's just big blokes and putting an oar in the water and having a go over a couple of miles. I mean, it looks stupid, but it must be a whole lot of fun or they wouldn't do it. So congratulations to the organisers, and that's the 16th to 17th. I'm sure C7 will be covering it. When they're not covering wood chopping, they'll be doing dragon boat racing. So if you're a dragon boat freak like Roy and myself, you'll know where to look for your dragon boat action. And one final one, Roy. Just a quick one, HG. This comes from Vigilante X in Sydney. Yes. My friend said the word arse clown is not a real one. And I was wondering if you could mention the word arse clown on national TV just once, so it could be a little bit more official. It would mean a lot. Well, strictly speaking, I suppose it is almost two words, but you could fuse them together, couldn't you? I saw a really odd ass clown the other day. Did you?
Right.
What was he doing? Yeah. Nothing much. So there you go, ass clown.
Yeah. Well,
it's a welcome addition to the canon of our English language.
I'd like to see it say on the front of this here, you know, this just taking a headline from neither here nor there, you know, gallery purchase nude ass clown. You know what I mean? I can see it really working and coming back into a lot of things. You know...
Ass clown, absolutely.
Well, that's right. Archbishop ass clown next GG. You know, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And it just to popularise the word through the show, be tremendous.
Yeah.
But speaking of the show, that's it for tonight, and we hope you can join us next week for more Monday Dump. See you then.
This program brought to you by Ford.
Tonight, the federal government's plan to bail out HIH victims. An accused Nazi war criminal faces a Melbourne court. And the new machine that gives mums-to-be a better look at baby.
With Natalie Barr, this is 7 News.
Good evening. The federal government's followed the lead of New South Wales and Victoria and come up with a relief package for the victims of the HIH insurance collapse. It won't say how much it's offering, but Prime Minister Howard says he'd prefer the money come out of next week's budget rather than from a levy. The bailout comes amid mounting evidence that HIH was spending up big as it headed towards financial ruin.
These are the pictures that prove HIH executives and staff were living the high life, even as the company was going under. A band playing at a company function, staff provided with limousines, champagne and free courtesy buses at events costing up to $1 million. HIH shareholders are unimpressed. They're suing the company.
My clients are exceedingly upset that it would appear that HIH was spending big.
With community anger rising, the federal government today responded with an interim package to give HIH policyholders some relief.
There are some quite tragic cases coming to light, and we think this, in the end, is a community responsibility.
Under the plan, the government will help pay for other insurance companies to take over HIH policies. It will reform regulations governing the insurance industry and negotiate with the states on a national compulsory third-party scheme. The plan does not rule out an eventual levy on all insurance policy holders to meet the HIH bill.
It's our preference not to invoke a levy or to use a levy.
The New South Wales government has already put in $50 million. The Victorian government today added $35 million. But Queensland says the state should not have to contribute at all because the collapse was due to a failure of federal government supervision.
And I think that's the raw prawn, to be honest.
In Canberra, Glenn Milne, 7 News.
Accused war criminal Conrad Kalej has appeared in a Melbourne court to fight his extradition to Latvia. Authorities there want to try the 87-year-old for genocide, claiming he was a guard at a Nazi-run concentration camp during World War II.
Arriving at court by taxi, Conrad Kalej chose to remain in a wheelchair. The court was told the 87-year-old was too frail to stand. He'd tried desperately to avoid coming to court, pleading ill health on several occasions. His appearance today was part of the 15-year struggle by Latvian authorities to put the former army officer on trial. He's been forced out of the US and Canada. It's alleged he was a commander at a camp in Nazi-occupied Latvia during the Second World War. The camp forming part of the Nazi program of ethnic cleansing. It housed civilians and Jews forced into hard labour. The court heard Kalej was a commander of a guard unit who ordered his men to shoot anyone trying to escape. Latvia claims those orders were carried out and at least 7 people were killed. Kalej's lawyer argued Latvia hasn't produced enough evidence to justify extradition, but Latvia claims it's sufficient to prove the alleged crimes were extraditable offences. The hearing continues. Pauline Braniff, 7 News.
A man has been accused of hypnotising a Sydney shopkeeper to get her to hand over money. Police are investigating several incidents caught on security cameras in the Lakemba store.
His victims call him a modern-day snake charmer, fluent in English and the Indian language Urdu. The man's accused of offering to tell shopkeepers their fortune before convincing them to hand over bundles of cash.
And he keep asking, look in my eyes, look in my eyes.
Sahid believes his wife was hypnotised at least 3 times in 9 months and was persuaded to give the stranger money.
She don't want to give him money, but still she give him the money.
Mrs. Jamal was convinced to not only offer cash from a handbag, but the shop till.
He is not interested in coins. He's asking $10, $20, $50.
The couple lost more than $300, the profit from long hours in their small business.
He's evil because he got the capability. He's got the capability to control other people by his tricks and his black magic.
It's believed many victims haven't come forward because the man preys on their beliefs. He warns them that if they tell anyone about his visit within the first month, someone in their family will be injured or die. Hypnotherapists say although the man appears convincing, he's not mesmerising his victims.
Hypnosis can be done very quickly, but the person has to want, the subject has to want to do whatever it is that's being suggested. You can't force anyone to do anything.
Police are investigating the case and have issued a warning to be aware of confidence tricksters. Darren Curtis, 7 News.
The record drug raid, which trapped alleged cocaine smugglers off Brisbane's Moreton Bay, has been marred by an embarrassing bungle. 3 Brisbane University students were sailing near the Colombian vessel and claim they were terrorised when special police first boarded the wrong boat.
It was Australia's biggest ever cocaine haul. 90 kilograms of the drug was seized with a street value of more than $20 million. The 17-metre luxury yacht had been tracked from Colombia to Noumea to Moreton Island. So why did Queensland police officers, acting under federal direction, initially board a 5-metre trailer sailor, a third the size of their target? The occupants, 3 university students, claim the police refused to identify themselves, bashed them and smashed apart their fishing gear and boat looking for drugs. Cable ties used to cuff the trio were so tight they cut off circulation. 4 days after the incident, one of the men still had no feeling in his hand. It's understood the 3 university students involved are pursuing the Commonwealth for damages. Their legal advice is not to go public. A federal police spokesperson says an investigation has commenced through the normal channels, but it would be inappropriate to comment any further. The spokesperson also claims the raid wasn't a case of mistaken identity. The students simply aroused suspicion by